You guys have been spamming me quite a bit for this, and I think it's about time I finally dropped it. But here we are, we got ourselves the Igris modeling tutorial. It will consist of 3 videos. But before you guys go ahead and watch this, I do want to make it clear that the point of these videos is not for you to go ahead and trace model my Igris. I did use this for a game, so I am going to be time-lapsing quite a bit of it. But I'm going to be explaining a lot of what I do and different factors and skills you guys could use to apply to other models as well. So the real goal from this series is to be able to go ahead and model any armor that you want. This should not be limited to only Igris models. The overall workflow is very similar. There isn't anything different. I'm going to be starting with the helmet just because it is probably the hardest thing to do, especially with a lot of armor sets. So I'll be going ahead and starting with that first. I also do make a high poly and bake it onto a low poly. I did also record this over a massive time frame. I believe like I modeled it a couple months ago and then I just textured it recently. So there are a lot of different stuff going around. I'm not exactly sure if I'll be able to keep up with what I'm doing myself. But the last video of this entire series is just going to be an overview of how I textured this. So hopefully you guys do enjoy, and without further ado, let's get into it. Now, before all of you guys start spamming my DMs and start complaining in the comments that this tutorial is going too fast, let me make it clear that if you are not able to do any of the tutorials on my current YouTube page, then you will not be able to follow along with this tutorial. If you cannot model clothing, if you cannot do weapons, then this tutorial is just too advanced for you, and you should not honestly be trying armors this early. I don't even have my keybinds being displayed for some reason, and my screen is all zoomed in. I don't know what the hell is going on with my OBS. But for those of you that are already sort of well versed in modeling, this tutorial should not be that hard to follow along, and I will be explaining a lot of things that I do anyways. So for starters, I do go with the helmet just because it's kind of hard adapting an actual shape around the Roblox head. So what you really want to do with any helmet is block in the shapes to get in a somewhat of a form of that helmet around the Roblox head. Then from there you can go ahead and move a lot of things very easily with large shapes. I do use sub-D modifier, and then at the end I go ahead and apply and then make a low poly optimized version. But for a high poly version, I do keep myself a nice high poly sub-D. A really big thing with metallic armors like this is that you really want to keep your topology clean, and you want to keep clean, equal, massive quads at the start, just because it makes it very easy to kind of form the shape how you want it to. Do not try modeling details and going ahead with all these crazy shapes, because then when you start changing stuff around, it just goes, all those details get in the way. So what I'm doing really here is firstly forming the shapes from the front view and a little bit of the side view, and then we go ahead and work on the back. Another thing is, when it comes to references, I did use a pure ref, so I do have a lot more references on my right screen. I will also be posting the pure ref file inside the tutorials channel, so make sure you guys join the Discord, which is below, if you guys want access to the pure ref file, which has all the pictures I used to make this model. But usually you really want to have a lot of or not as much as you could, honestly, when it comes to gathering references. Sometimes you won't, commissioners will give you AI references, so you just need to be experienced enough to be able to sort of adapt and make it work with the Roblox rig. But for anime accurate stuff like this, I did go ahead and grab myself a lot of references. This Igris is not the custom one from Arise. I will probably be doing that later. This one is from the anime, so I try to make it a little bit anime accurate. Now for the back of the head part right over here, I did do this on day 1. I actually came in here day 2 and I deleted the entire back part and redid it. So if you guys are following along, you could go ahead and block in the back, but I wouldn't recommend following along too much, because I actually end up, I think, redoing like a lot of it. But when it comes to the front, you have the 2 horns, which are actually not mirrored. One of them is kind of cut off. You leave that stuff for later. You try to work with symmetry as much as you can, and at the end, when you're done with the entire model, you can go ahead, apply the mirror, and then chop off that one horn, or if there's any other details that do not require symmetry. And that's how usually you would tackle that. If you're asking how I have this matte cap or how you apply cavity, then bro, this tutorial is not for you. Do not ask me that. Another thing when it comes to these type of armors, especially with clothing and armors, I recommend that you use the least amount of different parts and objects as possible. Try to have everything connected to the same mesh. It just makes topology really clean, makes texturing really awesome, and UVs just look absolutely great. And that really comes into play when we start doing the chest plate. As for the helmet, I kind of just extrude the horns, extrude the middle part, and at the end I kind of just focus on fixing the jawline, because it does, if you look at the normal Igris, you can see the front of the mask kind of comes down towards his neck, but Roblox rig does not have a neck, so we kind of have to make it look not so blocky, but at the same time make it look kind of natural on the Roblox head. So we kind of adjust that at the end. Right now I'm going ahead and putting in the horns. If you guys haven't noticed already, I do not have a shade auto smooth. I am manually marking sharp, and that really helps when you're using the subdue modifier. You have full control over what you want sharp, what you want smooth. I am using Shift E keybind for creating those edge creases. You guys can also do it in the end tab on your right when it pops up under view or something. But a quick keybind for that is Shift E. So I'm edge creasing and then marking sharp the edges that gotta be sharp. And over here I just kind of extruded and blended in the top of the horn. And I just go ahead and extrude from the top to give it the length it needs. Keeping it complete real here, I have no clue what the hell I was doing. I was just trying to connect the two pieces and I was just having a complete crash out. But once I finished that, I just tried on some different matte caps to see there's no crazy shading issues, make the shape look a little bit natural, and then I kind of finished off with just fixing his jawline, make it look a little bit natural while hiding the majority of the bloxy face. The armor set, the chest plate itself does have a little bit of a neck part, which kind of hides the head that shows from under the helmet. Now this part over here is day 2. As you could see, I already changed the entire back part without recording. I don't know why I didn't record it, but all I did really was just go ahead and add a second edge right behind the outer box, and the last edge I just scaled it out so you get that nice crease look. You guys can go back to it and see exactly how I pulled that off. I think I also did have a solidifier modifier on it as well. Then I moved on with the arm. I was going to make this a separate video, but I think we got time for this. So for the arm, really, you want to make sure you add in almost all the details. You can see on the reference, obviously, the length of an arm and the leg on an actual humanoid is like 10 times longer of the length you have on a bloxy. So you want to keep a little bit of the detail from the upper arm, a little bit of the elbow, and a little bit from the down kind of forearm area, and then the gloves. So it's really hard squeezing in that sometimes, but if you look at people's armors, they actually look pretty fine. They manage to get in a little bit of everything and it looks perfectly nice. Another one like this would be Berserk's armor. I actually really recommend you guys try modeling Berserk armor after watching this tutorial. But I go ahead and start with the forearm area, and then we just go ahead, add in edge loops, Shift E to edge crease, mark sharp, get in those nice clean shapes, and yeah, that's kind of it. Now sometimes it is better to block out other areas of the model just so that you get an idea of positioning. So I go ahead and start with the shoulder piece just so that I can see how much of the arm it covers, so I can go ahead and complete the rest of the arm. Now this shoulder piece for this arm was kind of annoying because it's not mirrored, so I went ahead and made the left one, which is I believe the simpler one, mirrored it, and then went ahead and made the adjustments to the right side since it's not symmetrized. A very important thing you guys want to do here to keep in mind, especially with clothing and armor on Bloxies, is that you want to really get it out of that Bloxy look. You don't want to make it look like it's stuck on, attached on that rectangle shape. You kind of want to round the shapes to make it look more natural, and the end result just looks a lot better when everything's not so flat and blocky around the Bloxy shape. It just looks a lot more natural and it's a lot more attracting. Obviously, it still needs to look like it's naturally setting on the shoulder, but you don't want to make it look like it's super tight. You want to give it that nice natural round shape just so that it pops out really well. Just to extrude this top part, I go ahead and press E to extrude. You could also press Alt E right over here. I'm pretty sure I just pressed E. If not, it would have been Alt E and then extrude from all sides, or whatever it's called, just to extrude from the top and to the side. But overall, I'm not doing anything too crazy. This is a simple vertex moving and extruding. Honestly, I barely did any extruding. It's really just moving around faces. But you really want to focus on getting the shape right. That's where I wasted most of the time. I don't think I've mentioned this, but overall the model of the entire thing took about 3 hours, and then probably an hour for texturing, so more or less 4 to 5 hours for the entire Igris model, which isn't too bad. If I was to hand paint, it would have taken a lot more, but I did not hand paint because I like doing procedural texturing for the big boys. Hand paint really not my thing, and the overall vibe I was going for was really not a flat shade hand paint. Otherwise there was no point of modeling half these details. There's this also extra piece. I go ahead and add that in here. I'm not really using that helmet reference I have behind, by the way. I did mention I'm using a pure ref sheet on my next monitor, so you guys do have access to that as well. Feel free to use it. I don't know why I didn't delete the helmet ref at the back. It's getting kind of annoying looking at it now, but I guess I was fine with it there. I did apply a solidifier modifier. I did end up moving a lot of things around towards the end just to adjust everything before I go ahead and make the low poly version. But over here we're really just focusing on putting in the shapes, making it look somewhat accurate, putting in more shapes from other areas, and then coming back and kind of just improving them slowly and making the entire thing look peak. As for the mirror, I have mirrored it on both axes, on the right side, and also cut on half to work on the back half. I did use well, if you guys are wondering about the gizmo in the middle that let me mirror on the opposite side, I have mentioned in my other tutorials that I do use hard ops to kind of speed up my process, but you guys are more than free to use the normal mirror modifier that works exactly the same anyways. Then I went ahead and applied the mirror modifier, so I can only work on the right shoulder piece now, and I made the changes needed. This one is a little bit more pointy. I think it just sticks out a little bit more and has a little bit of a different design, which I go ahead and do right now. Now from here, you guys will see the poly count just kind of explode. We'll go ahead and add a lot of loop cuts, move a lot of stuff around, but all of this gets baked on pretty much almost a full flat rectangle, so you really can go ahead and add in as many panels as you want, add in as many loop cuts as you want, because when we add the low poly, none of this will be there. I think I reaches like over 40 to 50,000 triangles, but the final result is literally not even 10,000. So it really will optimize at the end. You guys don't have to worry about adding however many loop cuts you got to. I go ahead and bevel, and I just scale up the upper edge just to give it the extruded type of look, keeping it really clean and adding the extra edges where needed, and I just simply scale things around to give it the panel shapes. And the cool thing about this is that it's pretty much the exact same what's it called, workflow on the legs, and we do a little bit something different for the boots, but I'm pretty sure the upper legs have this exact same design, so you can go ahead and kind of apply this there as well, which we will. I'm pretty sure I get to that in the second part of the video though. So this is where we start getting into the shoes a bit. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. I think at the beginning I make it a bit too thin and I end up making it a bit more bulky. But some people like adding a lot more depth. Some people like keeping it flat. personally, I like giving it just a little bit depth so it has some 3D details to it. This one in specific even has like another lace going above, which gives it some really nice details, and we'll get to that very soon. Now you guys will notice that a lot of things that I do, there's multiple different ways of doing it. It's really up to what you're comfortable with. This thing right here just felt natural for me to do, kind of keeping everything attached, give it some depth. I'm pretty sure I delete this in the next 2-3 minutes or so, and I do it with a separate mesh just because it wasn't working out too well. But really anything you see in this, there's multiple different ways of doing it. It's not only one correct way of doing it. Everyone has their different workflows. So don't attack me for what I am doing. I think this is going to be the last piece I'll be putting together in this video. And the next one, we are going to put the chest plate together, or the entire chest piece actually. And I'll show you guys how to do the hair as well that goes on top of the helmet. And then in the last video, we will go ahead and do a quick overview on different ways you can texture any armor or anything in general, honestly. So make sure you guys do leave a like, subscribe, and also share the video, and stay tuned for the next ones. You guys are more than free to use different matte caps just to see how your model turns out. We also do have the cape as well, but it's looking dope so far. We got a chest piece left, and we'll get to that in the next video. Peace out.